I'm Sarah Ramsden.
And I'm Summer Inanen.
And we are nutritionists answering your questions. Except today we're just talking because we feel like it.
We're going to answer our own questions again. Yeah. Actually, these are things that we get asked all the time. And just things that we like to rant about, so.
And this one is about, am I too stressed to work out?
Yes.
And this is probably a question you haven't asked yourself. People don't realize that they should be considering this. But yes.
There's this idea that more is always better. And in the case of exercise, that's not true. And especially in the case of when you're stressed out as it relates to exercise.
Right. So when we're talking about stress and you're stressed out, what does that mean? So you have your classic things. You know, your boss's unrealistic deadlines and your commute to work and your partner's annoying habits, whatever it is. Those are your kind of, yes, I'm stressed out. But there's also things like allergies and intolerances and infections and chronic illness, being a perfectionist. I think we both suffer from that.
Yeah, the type A syndrome.
Yeah, smoking, what else? Fear, no downtime.
Not having enough exercise or too much exercise, obviously.
Just general negativity.
Yeah, a lot of psychological stress. So, you know, you take on too much stuff emotionally. You have events in the past that you keep kind of lingering on.
Yeah, no support network, like we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
So that all these things add up, they're stressors. And on a day-to-day basis, we can handle a certain amount of stress. Mm-hmm. And we like to talk about it like about the barrel effect. Yeah. Where if you imagine like a bucket or a barrel and you can fill it up with things, certain stresses, but it gets to a certain point where maybe, I don't know, you lose a job or something big happens. You know, you get rear-ended on the highway, and then that barrel overflows, and that's when you're going to start getting symptoms of stress.
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be a big event, I would say. I would say it can just be this cumulative effect of all these little things adding up over time that you maybe even don't even notice it, and you just become kind of tolerant and adapted to it. But in reality, your barrel's overflowed long ago. And so you have to really ask yourself, like, how much of this stuff is going on? And we're going to obviously give you the signs of how you know if you're too stressed to exercise.
And it can even be something really awesome. Like if you get really excited about something and your barrel is just teetering or it's just overflowing, something really exciting can just be the thing that breaks the camel's back.
Yes.
Because it can be a stressor on the body too.
Yeah, it's anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? So what does that chronic stress do? Well, that chronic stress over time can really disrupt your hormones, and we've talked about this before in some other episodes. Yeah. But you know, like it can put a stress on your adrenals, which can then cause, you know, a hormonal imbalances throughout the body and lead to chronic illness at the end of the day.
Right, and just we're talking generalized inflammation throughout the body, which is always a sure sign of increased risk for chronic illness.
So how do you know, like, you know, what kind of exercise is too stressful? Well, you know, things that are really high intensity are what cause a stressor on your body. So things like CrossFit or, you know, spinning or
long distance running.
Yeah, marathon runners, or even just, you know, like 10K runners. Or in my case, just running like 400 meters. This is far too stressful for this girl. I can't run. So anything that's like high intensity. So anything where you're like huffing and puffing, can't have a conversation, you're pushing that kind of 80% or above effort, that would be the type of exercise that you need to pare back on in the face of stress. Mild to moderate activities, things like walking, you know, walking quickly.
Yoga, Pilates.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All that stuff, that swimming even, you know, that stuff's generally okay. But again, it's about your attitude. You know, if you hate the exercise that you're doing, like if you're like, I'm going to yoga and I hate it, that's a stressor on yourself too. So, you know, don't pick those things if they are going to be an additional stressor.
So how do you know if you are too stressed and need to take a step back from what you're doing? So what are the signs and the symptoms that you're going to get? So first of all, it's going to be reduced performance, whether probably over a few weeks or a few months, you're going to notice that your performance in whatever workout that you do is declining, it's going down. You're dragging your feet to get to the gym. You're really like forcing yourself to go because, you know, you really should get your workout in. If that's the case and you usually love to work out, that's a sign you need to pay attention.
Yeah, or you need that 5-hour energy to get you up in the morning or to the gym, or that caffeine before your workout. Like, that's a pretty big sign that
maybe you shouldn't be working out. You
shouldn't be working out because you should just have that energy. You should not need to rely on something to give it to you.
And if you're really heavy during your workout, if you have no pep, no power, again, and then if you leave your workout and you have no energy and you're just dead, another sign.
If you're dragging after that workout, like that's a sure sign of
you should be energized.
Overtraining. It's okay to push yourself, and once in a while you are going to feel that way. Like that's fine and that's normal.
It's just a consistent feeling that you'll get.
Yeah. If you're really sore, so after you do a workout the next day, like you're like, oh my god, I can't walk. And again, sometimes that's okay, but if it's happening more often or that recovery time is taking longer than you're used to, that's a sure sign as well.
And if you're getting injured all the time, or one injury is just staying and will just not heal, that's a big one.
Yeah. Not sleeping properly at night, so you wake up kind of in the middle of the night, or you wake up earlier than you should.
3 to 4 a.m. is the real witching hour for stress. So if you're paying attention, you can check your clock.
Yes.
That is a surefire sign that you are too stressed out.
If you are someone who's trying to lose weight and you're saying to yourself, I keep working out more and like my body's just not changing.
More.
Yeah, like that's generally a problem. Or if you're starting to accumulate weight, especially around your belly area, that's another sign.
Yeah, so if you're someone who is a long distance runner and you're gaining weight or you're not losing weight, that's a sure sign that you're doing too much.
Yes.
It's too much of a stress on your body in addition to everything else that's going on.
And it's really hard to let go of the fact that less can actually be, it's really hard to accept the fact that less can be better, but you have to, and you have to be patient with the process, and it will sort itself out. But that's when you need to back it off. If you get sick all the time, or you find yourself just being kind of feeling more nervous or agitated or stressed out, those are other kind of signals that that training that you're doing is probably not benefiting the other amount of stress that you have, in conjunction with the other stress that you're dealing with.
So if that is the case, if you're finding that, maybe you need to take a step back. Maybe instead of, wake up in the morning and you're feeling this way, or you're kind of at work and you're like, oh, I don't know. Do something else instead. Go do some yoga, do some mobility, just take the dog for a longer walk outside in the park. Still do something, but just take a break. And maybe I really feel like missing a workout here and there, or even taking a week off or a month off if you need to, is way more beneficial for your long-term health and fitness. So if your goal is to feel good and to look fit, you don't need to be there 4 or 5 times a week. Missing a workout is going to have such benefits for your health in the long run.
Yeah, you need to bank in that recovery in there, and sometimes it's hard for people to let go of that idea, but embrace it, embrace recovery, embrace that time off, take a nap instead, sleep in once in a while, be okay with it. If you're someone that's not getting enough sleep, so if you're not getting, I say a minimum of 7 hours, some people say 6 hours, you shouldn't be doing high intensity activity, I'm sorry.
So if you're a new mom and you're really getting anxious to lose the baby weight, just don't worry about it. You should not be going back to real training until you're getting a solid 6-7 hours of sleep. Yeah.
So don't just ignore that Us Weekly crap that shows all the new moms with their new bodies that they dropped in 4 weeks.
Because they had a tummy tuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Enjoy the process with your baby.
And then you also have to bear in mind, you don't want to put those Olympic athletes and those professional athletes kind of as your guiding light, because there's this known, as you increase your fitness and your performance, there's a point where your health falls away. And it's and you have to remember that those athletes are going through cycles and periodizations, and you should not be working at a super high level all the time.
Yeah, again, your goal is just to be fit, healthy, happy. You don't need to train like an athlete to do that. And it can be the detriment of your health.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
So
so you just, I guess at the end of the day, to kind of summarize, really pay attention to your body, pay attention to the signals. If you're someone that really loves and is doing a lot of high intensity activity, just back it off a bit. You really don't need to do that much high intensity to reap the benefits of high intensity activity. I would say to people that you only need that at most 3 times a week, and then you can do other things, you know, like more moderate strength training, some walking. And then in the face of stress, you need to back off that high intensity activity completely. You know, just take things easy and you can still have fun with it.
And you'll get back after that break and your performance will kick up a gear after a couple of weeks of just easing into it. Like it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if like your back squat is not PRing all the time. In the grand scheme of life, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. And if you have any questions for us, email us at asksummerandSarah@gmail.com and we'll try to get your question on to our next episode. And until then,
see you
later.
later.
See you next time. Bye.